Hey friends, what's good? Welcome to Storytime. So today's Storytime takes place in early 80s, I believe, and we're going to talk a little bit about my grandparents. And I had some crazy times. I spent a lot of time, I was telling you before in a video that I spent a lot of time with my grandparents because my parents worked full-time hours, both of them like Canada Post and bus driving. So we spent a lot of time with our grandparents. And one thing I remember about my grandma specifically was that she was incredibly thrifty. I'm not going to say cheap. She was just very, very frugal with the money. And I was telling you before that she would carry the money when we go for a visit. She'd always have the money in her purse, never let my brother and I have our own money. So this is kind of the same kind of story. So back in the day, my grandparents were the caretakers of a park house. So that's where they plunked the house in the middle of the park, and attached to the house is a shower room and change rooms. And in this park, it was fabulous. There was tennis, lawn bowling, baseball, and then just a huge field for you to do whatever, running and track and maybe play some soccer. It was a really beautiful way to grow up, and to stay at my grandparents' house was always a treat for my brother and I. So I remember my grandma one day, we woke up early. It was probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and grandma said to us, I need you guys to take the wagon out. We were going to pull a little red wagon with us and collect all the bottles and cans because I believe it was after the weekend we had to go and clean up all the bottles and cans in the park. Now, my brother and I, we just did what we were told. And there was no real, back in the day, there wasn't really compensation, just as long as you didn't get in trouble. And you got fed for the day. So knowing that, we'd have a tuna and cheese in the convection oven, little toasted tuna and cheese, or we'd have a nice roast for dinner. We never really had a lot of treats though at Grandma's. Grandma was different than Nana. Nana had all the treats, the 15 pies and the 20 squares. That was a Nana thing. But Grandma's place was a lot different. It was very strict timing for the meals, and you ate what was on your plate or you didn't leave the table. So many times my brother sat at that table staring at the peas. He never ate them. He got in so much trouble. Brad, if you're watching this, you should have just ate your damn peas. We would have had a lot more peace in the house. Get it? Peas, peace. I need a swig of this. Hold on. No ASMR on this video. All right. So we got the wagon. My brother's little. I'm a little bit older. So I'm about 3 years older than my brother. And we head out and start picking up, like, you got to remember, like, this is the 80s, early 80s, late 70s, where for some strange reason people didn't try and steal your kids on every corner. You could just let your two little kids go out and collect bottles in a huge park. So we're going through, we're collecting. We've got a full, I'm sure there was at least one full Glad garbage bag, like a big black garbage bag full of bottles and cans. And the one interesting thing about this was that we got to take those bottles and cans to the depot, which was just around the corner. And so we got home, we were excited because we didn't know what was happening. Like, is this something that, like, are we going to get rewarded for this? What's the deal? What's going to happen? And we asked grandma what she wanted us to do once we got them all. Like, she was so happy because we collected tons and tons of money. I think it was probably the same amount back then, 10 buck or 10 cents a can. So she said, I'd like you guys to go down to the depot, cash these in, and then bring me back the money. So when we went to the depot, it was exciting because back then, like I said, money it wasn't just handed out freely. You had to work for your money back then. And my brother and I believe we got home with $10 total, which is a huge amount of money for two kids like us. And grandma, I don't know, the goodness of her heart, she said, here's $5. I'm going to give you guys $5, and I want you to just hang on to it. Don't spend it, just save it. And I'm thinking, there's no way. I'm not saving $5. I gotta go spend it. So my brother and I kind of tricked my grandma. We said something to the effect like, "Oh, well, we're just gonna go for a walk." And where we lived, the park was on the corner, and there was kind of a broad, like a main strip. And back then there wasn't tons of traffic. It was an oh, dogs are gonna bark. Not So there was this strip where you could go down. There was like little stores or little diner, probably a little mini clothing store, maybe a thrift shop, that kind of thing. But we were able to walk down there, and so we knew what time it was. It was between lunch and dinner. So Grandma handed me, or she had given us the $5, said put it away. And I didn't put it away. I put it in my pocket, and I looked at my brother and I said, "Let's go to town." Like maybe I was a bit of a badass even back then, but yeah. So we went for a little walk, and as soon as I said we got around the corner, I said to my brother, "We got to go get a treat." And I mean, I was the older sister. I was of course right. So he said, kind of okay. We popped into this diner in the corner because I remember having they had this huge sundae, and it was, back then, I mean, we're little, so maybe huge was only this big, but it was like a full sundae, hot fudge, whipped cream, all that stuff. And my brother and I proceeded to order one hot fudge sundae for $2.50. And to me, that would have been like a lot of money. And we sat there and we ate this entire sundae together in like probably going to be in trouble, but I don't think we ever told anybody about that story because we were just like so excited, like Cheshire Cat. We walked out of there so excited. We just ate a sundae. We both got home and it was later in the day, and Grandma didn't ask any questions. We just went and played and did some stuff. And when it came time, for supper to come around, we both had to pretend that we were completely, you know, empty. We needed to eat. We were starving. So we ate our entire meal and it was hilarious because nobody ever found out. And now, I mean, they're both gone, so they're never going to find out. But yeah, so that's what we did to kind of combat the fact that nobody ever gave us a lot of treats when we went to Grandma's. But we worked hard for that money. We wanted to use it that day. And it was a great day. Awesome Sunday. And we sat on those stools, the red stool leather, and they're a bit high, and you sit at the actual counter. So much fun. I love those days. I love reminding my mom. I just talked to her and reminded her about the fact that Grandma's house at the time had plastic on the furniture. We weren't allowed, it was a white couch with white carpets, and we got a couple of kids in there running around, like just craziness back then. But those were such fun times, and I love talking about nostalgia, you guys. And so I just want to say thank you for hanging out for this little story. And that's what you get here. You get random, irrelevant stories of nostalgia and whatever I want to talk about because it's my channel. I want to say thank you to my newest subscribers. Welcome, you guys. Like already, I'm over 54 subscribers. Come on now. So thank you. Like, share, subscribe, comment, hit the bell so you don't miss things. Saturdays now at 6:30 p.m. is my time to put stories out. So I want to be consistent because I love this. When I wrote my first book, my only book, when I wrote my book, I thought, man, I love this writing thing. Well, telling stories on YouTube is equally as exciting. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Anyways, have a fantastic day and God bless you guys. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.